or not that green.
Yeah, David was pretty sick. Because actually, he was laying on the table before we went out and played the gig. We were just wondering.
I was passed out in
Put you on a gurney,
the car.
didn't
Huh?
They put you on a gurney, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a cot. They put me in a car and drove me to where the Musikladen thing was, and then woke me up and said, "Okay, it's time to go on." And I was like, "Okay." And I went out there and I played the show in a complete daze, and then went back to this cot, and then they woke me up and put me in the car and took me away, and I didn't remember anything about being there at all.
You're listening to Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast. The Panorama's #1 source for news, reviews, and thoughts about the new wave rock legends, the Cars. Oh, and a little bit of steel wool, sunshine, and rainbows.
Hey, welcome to Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast, episode 54. I'm Dave, and I'm in a mood. And joining me is your co-host Donna, who has only one mood, sunshiny, rainbowy.
And a little bit nervous.
And a little bit nervous. Well, all right then. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear you're a little bit nervous. This is not your first time podcasting, Donna.
No, it's not that. It's my first time podcasting with you in a mood that part of that mood has to do with me.
No, none of the mood has to do with
Are you sure? I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
I'm very sure the
All
mood
right.
has nothing to do with it. I was in the mood before.
I figured you would be. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know why. I'm
I
not going to
do.
say on the pod, but you know why I'm in a mood.
I know why, and I feel you. So I'm
Yeah. And so I'm sitting here in my pod den, which the Night Thoughts podcast studios is actually just a corner of the office.
Yeah.
And I've got it all cluttered. That makes it even worse. I got it all cluttered with, well, it's cluttered with good stuff. I'm cluttered with granddaughter letter supplies. You know, I got the little colored cards.
Yes.
And Sharpies and stickers and, all that kind of stuff is kind of cluttering it up. But hey,
That's
You
sweet stuff to have around you.
you got to do stuff. Write to your littles, people. Write to your littles.
Yep.
Kids love freaking mail.
They do so much.
I did when I was little. Did you ever get letters or whatever from, a grandparent or whatever?
No. Nope.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Donna.
I know. But that's why, with my kids, I always had them write letters to Grandma and Papa, and yeah.
Yeah.
And even their friends. I mean, they have friends now that they still will, paper and pencil, send them in the mail.
You're creating memories, man. That's what it's all about.
For sure.
And like my grandma, I remember she would send me cards and letters, and she'd like tape a dime inside, which, at the time, or she'd tape like 2 or 3 dimes. But at the time, that money went a long way back then. That'd be like, 10 pieces of penny candy or a bag of Brock's candy. You sell like 10-cent bags of candy.
Yeah.
Get like 3/4 of the way through a pack of smokes with that.
Oh, jeez.
If you saved up grandma's dimes,
Yeah.
by golly, you go down the corner, get yourself a pack of smokes.
Yikes. Well, you saying that totally reminds me, though. I did get letters from my grandma when I was in college, and she was so
Did she
great.
take dimes in there? How
No.
cheap? You're in college.
No, she would put a $5 bill in there, and and she'd have her little letter that would just her little ramblings about, this and that she was up to, and that $5 always came just when I needed it. Because, you're college, so it's like, oh, I got no more quarters for laundry. What am I going to do? Oh, my gosh, I got a letter from Grandma today, $5. Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents used to send me like $30 at a time, and that would last me, a couple weeks. There's food.
Yo, yeah. Heck yeah.
10-cent boxes of mac and cheese. Hey, that went a long way.
You and your 10 cents.
Yeah. That's how much they cost, Donna.
All
Everything
right,
was 10 cents back
in
then.
the right. Yes, Fred Flintstone, back in the days when you were
Everything.
powering your car with your feet.
That's correct. All right, let's get to the news.
Well, let me just tell you, let me give you a visual, because I had to go get my hair done this morning, at the last minute because I am such a scatterbrain that I didn't.
Did you get a perm?
No. I just got a colored.
You look like Mike Brady right now.
I don't know what I look like right now because the gal squeezed me in. I forgot to make my appointment. She squeezes me in, so she's working me around other people, which is, of course, the downfall, which is why I'm late to podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, I gotta go. And so I tell her, don't even, just rinse it, just. So she washes my hair, she scrubs it with the towel, and I just take off out of the, get through some money at her. And then I go taking off out of the the place and race home. So I'm sitting here, I don't even know what my hair looks like. It's totally wet. Through my headphones, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dave's gonna be so mad at me. And so I'm a soggy, wet puppy with I don't know what color hair. So I hope it all works out.
We want pictures.
Oh my gosh, there's no way. I don't even know what I look like. I'm not sending you a picture.
If only I can get a message to one of your kids to take a picture right now. That would be pretty awesome.
Nope, they got my back. They wouldn't do that. Well, they might. They like you pretty well, so they might.
All right. Well, there's the first part of the news, folks. So, in the news this week, we have quite a few things. First and foremost, we had the 40th anniversary of Candy O.
Yes. Very exciting.
Yep. New album called Candy O, which if you listen closely sounds different than a goat being gutted.
We're going to have to perform a suckectomy on it.
Turbocharged reference.
Yes.
Anyway, but Dante is having a new album come out, and he posted a few tracks, and they're pretty freaking awesome.
Yes. It's called Out of Body Experience. It's going to be released on July 4th, but I think you can pre-order June 15th, which is tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to getting that going.
Yeah, they have it on iTunes, but just certain singles. So I was like, okay, I got to bypass that. But
yeah.
You know me, I always have to get CDs.
I know, me too. I like the tangible.
Yep.
It's very cool. He said that it's probably his most Greg Hawkes-like album that he's done.
Yeah.
This is his 5th album, I believe. And he's just such a fan of the Cars, and it really shows through. I could imagine him and Greg doing some sort of synthesizer duo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
And the one single is called I can't even pronounce it.
Synesthesia.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Synesthesia.
Which pretty much says it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we wish Dante much luck on that, and we'll, of course, promote the hell out of that for Dante.
Yeah.
And also, someone pointed out on Facebook, can never remember who, that the trailer for the movie Onward, which is one of those Pixar movies,
okay,
has magic.
Oh.
Some magic in the trailer.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. Not the first song to use magic, but hey, that's pretty awesome.
Yes, I'll have to find that.
And and you posted something today from the from that 80s theme show.
The Goldbergs, yeah.
The Goldbergs, yeah.
And it was also the song Magic, yeah.
Yep. It's a song they use, that is for sure.
It's a good one. Yeah, I've been trying to collect all the little audio clips I can find. So here I've got another one I'm posting tomorrow. So yeah, just as I can, just compiling those all into a playlist on my YouTube channel if anyone's interested. So.
All right, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, next week is Boston.
Yay!
Next week is Boston. I'm all swagged up for Boston.
Nice. Yeah, I'm jacked. I am so excited. We got Brett Milano is going to be our moderator, and people, if you will remember, he is, among other things, he's the guy that conducted the final interview with the Cars.
Which we are talking about today.
We are indeed. So yeah, I'm excited to meet him, and yeah, it's going to be a blast. We've got lots of stuff in the works, so.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, and we're going to have Mini fucking Rico for anyone who wants a picture with Staten Island Podcast Pal.
No, wait a minute. Mini effing Rico?
Mini fucking Rico. That's hashtag Mini fucking Rico.
Oh, boy.
If you want your picture taken with Mini fucking Rico, you have to post it hashtag Mini fucking Rico.
I thought it was just going to be Pocket Rico.
No, man, it's Mini fucking Rico.
All right.
I can't steal Pocket Benjamin or Pocket Greg.
Pocket Jenny. Pocket Dave. We did those.
Yeah, but this is Mini fucking Rico.
All right. He's got to be different, doesn't he? He's not your...
He does have to be different.
Not your regular guest. You know, I wonder if El Glenn Duche will show up. We haven't heard from him in a long time.
El Glenn does not go mini.
I was hoping he could make us some pancakes. Hoping to run into him at one of the breakfast places.
Yeah. Good old El Glenn.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
El Glenn. Yes.
All right.
So
let's get into it, Donna.
Let me just say, in case anybody doesn't know, what we're talking about is the Boston Book Event for the book Let's Go, Benjamin Orr and the Cars, written by Joe Milliken. It is an author discussion and concert with the band Moving in Stereo. That'll be June 22nd at 9 Wallace in Beverly, Massachusetts.
As the poster says, author event, live concert, swag.
Wow. All right.
You know, I have this fantasy, Donna.
Oh, no.
Here's my fantasy.
I
know it's not going to happen,
Elizabeth
but here's
Shue?
my fantasy.
Does it involve Elizabeth Shue? Okay.
It does not involve Elizabeth Shue, but it has to do with Moving in Stereo.
Uh-oh.
That at some point that Saturday night, Lars or Matt will come out and say, Dave, Donna, here's your official Moving in Stereo shirt.
Ooh, I like that fantasy.
Yeah, because, you know, we suggested it to him. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
I know. They're such busy guys. I know.
They are
That'd be
busy
so
guys.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, guys, if you're listening, get those Moving in Stereo shirts. It's a badass logo. We support you.
Big time.
Yeah. I'll wear it.
I thought you were going to have a fantasy about them, like, pulling you up on stage to take over the synth riff on night spots. And
that fantasy would involve just putting me with a guitar, maybe plugged in, but not volume real high, and playing along with just what I needed. Because that goes back to my, 1984 Private Affair with the Cars fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could relive it through that.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Good.
So the Cars live. I went old school on this one, Donna. I actually have paper notes.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, people can hear them. Usually I do all mine digitally and whatever, but I couldn't sit and watch because I had to watch it on my laptop, and I didn't want to go back and forth typing and stuff. So I just got my old Night Thoughts notebook out and wrote down my notes. So I'm going old school on that.
Okay.
So how about a little background on this release?
Okay, go for it.
All right. See how she turned that back over to me, folks? Who usually does the background info, folks?
Well, I have background info on the interview, and I have background info on the Musikladen concert.
Well, yes. On Musikladen, you totally, because you did a total blog post on it, which was awesome.
I did, yeah.
All right. Well, the Cars Live from Rhino came out in 2000, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly when it came out, but it was promoted beforehand. Everybody wanted it. Actually, and you can still get it. The prices are not bad. It's not out of print. Well, it may be out of print, but the prices aren't bad. We're not looking at $170 or whatever.
Right. It was released in October, just so you know.
Yeah, October
2000. Yeah, just it was really shortly after Ben passed away.
Yes. And the big thing was the fact that this was the Cars' final interview. I think people had heard and seen the Musikladen footage, many times, however. But it was the interview that was the big draw, I think, on this release. But as far as the packaging goes on it, I've always been a little disappointed in that with the Rhino. I mean, it isn't like the Cars Unlocked that has the book and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is just pretty straightforward clamshell case, cover. You get a little leaflet inside, and that's about it.
Right.
So nothing big there. But it is what it is. They did what they could do.
Yeah.
They got it to us.
Well, and that's the thing, the important part is, wow, they released footage, officially released footage of a live show.
Yes.
And then, yes, that final interview is priceless.
So give us a little background on just the show Musikladen.
Okay, well, Musikladen, this was a concert that was filmed while they were touring for their first album, the debut album. It was filmed on November 29th, 1978, although it didn't air until June 7th, 1979, so the following summer. And Musikladen is a show that was on German television, and it was kind of the equivalent maybe of, like, what was that, Dick Clark?
American Bandstand, Solid Gold.
It was kind of like that. Well, no.
Soul Train.
Okay, no, I'm gonna have to edit all that out because
why?
Because it wasn't like that. Because American Bandstand was different. They had all the kids gathering and dancing and stuff like that. It wasn't like that.
Yeah. Well,
it was more like Midnight Special. It was more the
Soul Train.
Okay, there you go. All right. So yes, and so they had gone. They had been in England doing Rock Goes to College before that, which was an awesome show, and then they had gone to France, which was beautiful, and then they did this show in Germany, and the show is gorgeous. It's amazing. The lighting is a little bit weird, but I love that it's all uncut. And
yes.
And I don't want to, we'll talk about the interview that they did. At the beginning of the interview, of course, they talk about their recollections about Musikladen. So I don't know if you want to go into that right now or cover it all when we talk about the interview.
Well, they sure. I mean, we can talk about that. All of them were basically hungover or sick.
Yes. They had related in the interview about, the title of the article I wrote for it was called A Bit of German Hospitality.
Yeah.
Because
let's face it, David Robinson looked like death.
He managed to pull it off, but in the interview he talks about how they were bringing him plates, platters of apple schnapps, and they're just, and he's like, well, we had to drink it. I mean, what could we do?
Yeah.
So he's the next day, they're shipping him out on a gurney to get him to the drum riser.
If that isn't a drummer cliche, I don't know what is.
Right. They basically Weekend at Bernie's. They've got him propped up on the drum there, and
wave to the crowd, Dave. Pull the string.
Yeah.
Right,
Elliot,
job,
Greg and Elliot each have a one arm string that they're tied to their ankle, so they're tapping their foot as they're trying to do their own instruments and keeping Dave alive back there. Yeah.
Well,
so, but
actually, in knowing that, what bad shape they're in. What professionals? Because they're tight as usual.
Oh, they sound amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's funny to me that David says he has no recollection at all of playing that show, and yet and really, if you didn't know that background, you might watch it and just think he's just a stoic drummer.
Yeah. You know what, Donna, I would guarantee you that day that Dave Robinson's hands were not the warmest thing on earth. I bet you they were cold and
clammy. Oh, poor David.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So that was the show that they did, and just like I said, involved in that tour. And then I think they headed home shortly thereafter because they were home at the beginning of December. So, yeah.
Well, the to just kind of go into it for people who don't have it, first it has a basic menu, which it's really basic. It's kind of corny.
Yeah.
It's band members going by in a car, and it's just like get past that. But you start into the Musikladen, and you got the announcer who has to pronounce it, of course, the Kaz.
The Kaz.
It's the car. Which you don't do in Boston. We've established that fact already. You don't do stuff like that.
No. Nope.
But they start off with Good Times Roll, which was pretty standard. And the first thing that I noticed in there's Ben is wearing a red promo Cars button.
Yes, he is.
With an arrow kind of pointing up to it, like, hey, notice my promo Cars button.
That's right. Boy, that guy loves his bling.
Yeah.
He does.
Yep.
And he's got that choker on and the black leather pants.
Yeah, the black leather pants. Rick's wearing the black leather pants too, but
yeah. A little different.
Wouldn't that be funny if they got mixed up? Rick's trying to put on Ben's black leather pants. I don't get it. They're really short. No.
Totally tight and short. Well, no, they wouldn't be tight because they'd be like, well, I don't think any pair of pants is ever going to be tight on Rick unless they're spandex. Because he just got sticks for legs. But they'd be totally short.
Yeah.
Ben, he wouldn't be able to get it up past his knees. He wouldn't be able to pull Rick's pants on. They'd be too tiny.
So basically what I did was, as I watched, because I've seen this footage to death, but I mean, it was kind of like seeing a movie for the umpteenth time, and you're just kind of looking for stuff in the background, what's going on, things that I noticed that I'd never noticed before. So that's pretty much what my notes are.
Oh, okay.
On the whole concert thing. So if you just want to go, song by song, if there's anything you want to say about it or anything that you noticed.
Well, to be honest, it was kind of the same with me. I really love this footage and I've watched it a lot. So I didn't, yeah. So why don't you lead the discussion and I'll just kind of say what I remember, but I didn't really take notes that detailed for this part.
Yeah.
I focused on the interview more.
Well, the Good Times Roll starts out and they have the, which I always thought was cool, the sound effects of the car crashing and so forth before they start playing, which is kind of cool. I love how they use the WU logo in the show. They kind of have it on a screen behind them, and they also show it on the screen.
Right.
But Good Times Roll is Good Times Roll, and from there they go into Bye Bye Love. And which is an awesome rendition. I kind of kept track of, like, for example, in Good Times Roll, when they get finished, Greg says thank you.
Yes.
Okay, and then at the end of Bye Bye Love, Ben says thank you. And they just kind of go back and forth with their thank yous. Different person does it. I don't know. Yeah. Rick never says thank you.
No. Does he say anything?
I don't think so. I think he's. No, I don't think so. Maybe he says, man, these leather pants are itchy. I don't know.
Shaking out one leg.
That could be it. Yeah. But in Bye Bye Love, I noticed I kept trying to get a good shot of what pin Greg had on, and it looked like a penguin. I don't know if it's a penguin.
I thought it was a penguin too. Yeah.
Yeah. Penguin pin. There's another one to ask Greg Hawkes if we have him back on the pod.
Have you ever, or do you now own a penguin pin?
What is with the penguin, Greg? What's with the penguin? Yeah. But anyway, in Bye Bye Love, it's the first kind of thing where you see Elliot and Ben kind of interacting on stage, saying whatever they say to each other. I don't know what they say. Maybe Elliot's saying, man, I should have peed before we came out here. Look, you got to go before it starts, partner. I don't know.
I feel like, because, Ben gives him that look, like, where he sort of purses his lips, like, looks down at his hands. He's got this, like, it's almost like a little challenge, like, are you going to be able to do this? Can you finish the song? Can you pull this off?
Yeah.
He gives him some kind of, like, challenge. And it's so, I always think of that as they have their little Ben and Elliot flirt, where they always kind of, eye each other and give those little smiles, and you just know they have private jokes between them, and it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So from there they go into Night Spots, and which at the time, this was before Candy O.
Yes.
Was released. So and they've got a few things like that. But in night spots, Greg keeps looking into the camera, and it cracks me up how much he's breaking the fourth wall on this whole thing. And during this song they have like a crowd shot, and I swear if you go back and look at it, there's a guy that looks like he's contemplating his life, like about mid-screen. He's got his hand on his chin, and it's like, what the hell was that guy's deal? He's like contemplating his life. I don't know what the deal is.
That's funny.
Yeah, but Greg does the thank you at the end of Night Spots.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. And then we go into I'm in Touch with Your World.
Oh, man. And this, really, Greg is just the star.
Yeah.
In fact, I think in my article I wrote that he sort of takes the whole show almost, not just because of I'm in Touch with Your World, but, he comes out with his little breadwinner guitar, and he just is amazing in this whole performance. And so, yeah, I'm in Touch with Your World is awesome.
And he, mentions that in the interview about it being such a visual kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And, is he going to make it? He's going to make it. And there's one part he doesn't make it. He doesn't make the ratchet.
Yes.
Like that. Because he picks it up and he's like, oh shit, I'm not going to make it. And just kind of misses it,
Go on to the next instrument.
Yeah, just go on to the next one, But I wonder, I wonder if like Greg antagonized the other guys with the ratchet thing. Like Rick bends over. Elliot at the urinal zipping up his pants. That kind of thing.
Greg just always has it with him in case he needs to.
Well, yeah.
In case the opportunity
Damn it,
arises.
Hawks. You stop it with the ratchet. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, and the little whistle. Does he wear the whistle around his neck in this one? I can't remember. Or is it? Yeah.
I can make that whistle sound.
The slide whistle.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good one too. Everything funny Greg would say, he would just follow it up with a whistle.
Yeah.
Every band joke.
Well, or the horn, the hee-haw little horn thing.
Yeah.
When he thinks he makes a particularly funny joke, he whips that thing out. Hee-haw, and they're just like, Greg,
knock it off, Hawks. Come on now.
Done. That's it. You're out. Go out.
You're out. You're out of there. So after that, Greg's great visual performance, they go into I'm my best friend's girl.
Love.
And they do a little guitar change there. Elliot changes to his best friend's girl guitar. Rick changes guitar. I think Rick turns the amp up to 11 at that point. He's fucking with the amp. And this one is really cool because it's one of the few pieces of footage where whenever Elliot has a solo, they focus on Elliot, which is the way it should be.
Yes. Yeah. Well, one thing I noticed about this venue is because the stage is smaller, like particularly compared to like France. France seemed like it was a really big stage. This is a very small stage. It's very cozy, and so you feel like you're just sitting right there. And it's nice then that the cameramen don't get lost, with a lot of extra visual space, or, they seem to know better what's going on. And it might just have something to do with it being a closer type of show, Yeah. Because there are parts where Elliot's like looking at one camera and then he takes like 3 steps over and there's another camera right there. You can see him looking at that one. And, and so maybe it's easier for them too to play to the camera because they can see where the cameras are.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
So after that, we go into Candy-O, which always kicks ass.
Oh my gosh.
Benjamin at his best. And this is one of those versions where they got a little extra lyric in there. He's, Candy-O, this, Yeah. I think it says, is it Permissimo?
Bellissimo.
Bellissimo? Yeah, whatever the hell that means.
I think, doesn't that mean louder?
I don't know.
Well, no, that's fortissimo.
Fortissimo.
Fortissimo might mean louder. Maybe bellissimo means beautiful.
It just has to rhyme with Candy-O.
End in an O, you're fine. Cheerio. What else?
Candy-O. Cheerio.
For this you know.
For this you know. Candy-O, I stubbed my toe.
Ow, ow, oh.
that one doesn't work, Ben. Okay.
Oh, dang it.
That's right.
I told you I'm not a good ad-libber.
That's right.
All right.
So, but great version of Candy-O.
It is. I just have to say it at least once, although it's probably going to come out more than once. He is so gorgeous. So gorgeous in this footage. Dave, you have to admit it. He is a Greek god.
He is a Greek god.
Thank you for admitting that. That blonde hair, the perfect shag, the rock and roll outfit. He's got that Vox. Then he's got the Music Man. And with that blue background, there's just nothing. He's stunning. Okay, that's it for now.
He is stunning. See, I'm just repeating everything you say.
Good. You're a smart man.
He is a Greek god.
He is.
He is stunning. So then you're all I've got tonight. Rick has the go ahead and dump me line in there. He's kind of all over the place. But I really like the ending of this when he's, doing like his little talk bit at the end of it. And he's, let me tell you, yeah, I need you tonight. That's right. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about when the song ends, you kind of, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, but watch, Dave Robinson is like, it looks like he's scribbling something down or writing something down from his drum kit or doing something when the song is over. And to me, it looks like he's, writing something down, which I believe I know what he's writing down.
Okay.
Okay? He's writing down, kick-ass idea, play concert at skating rink, come out to this song on a fucking Zamboni. I think that is where David Robinson got the idea for that.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
You might be right. Who knows?
Yep.
Who knows?
So after this, they go into Take What You Want. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Wait. I think I know what he's writing.
What's he writing?
He's writing, someday I'm going to grow a really big beard and hide behind it.
Or maybe he's writing, damn, my hands are clammy today.
Maybe he's writing, I'm going to barf, and then he tries to pass the note off to one of the roadies.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hurl.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, take what you want.
Yeah, take what you want. So, this, song had been out there for, a long time in the fandom. Mm-hmm. And I know that, there's different versions or whatever. I'm sure the demo version off of the Cars Deluxe might have been out there. I definitely know for a fact that the version from the Agora bootleg was out there. I'm wondering if the audio, one of the other versions, was the audio from this concert.
Yeah, I guess I never
but
thought about it.
It's a kick-ass song. God, it's one of those songs I'm like, why didn't this song make it on an album?
I know.
It's epic. And the only thing I can come up with is maybe it's too jammy, when it comes to Elliot and his solo or whatever, but this is Elliot's song.
Yeah.
He kicks ass on this song.
He does.
And I like how when the Greg introduces it, this song is called Take What You Want, and then Elliot goes, so take it. Like, oh, you're so badass.
I know,
so take it.
Such a toughie. Gangsta.
Yeah. But we have, Greg on guitar on this, and you got that Elliot and Greg guitar play with each other, which cracks me up every
It's
time.
hilarious. Greg with his little robotic movements, and like just being such a goofball.
Yeah.
And how he can't figure out which mic he's supposed to be singing out of, and so he's kind of like, oh, I'm going to sing here with Ben. No, I'm going to sing here with Elliot.
Yeah.
Okay, someone get me a mic.
And he must have like the longest fucking guitar chord in the history of rock and roll, because he goes from his spot, and at some point in time he's like all the way over on the other side with Elliot
Right.
over there, and it kind of reminds me of that comic strip, Family Circus.
Okay.
Where you got little Billy, and it shows like his path around the yard, like with the dotted line.
Yes.
So it's like, Greg, he's like, he's like going over Ben's shoulder, the chord, and then it's going around Rick's legs, and then
Back
around
behind.
the drums, and
That's right. Excuse me, David. Goes back around.
then he has to retrace his steps to get back over there.
That's right. Well, and not just because he's like scattered, but because like he can't. Okay, I got to get to my spot. Like the little kid always trying to get past the big guys to get out to the front where he wants to be. And they're blocking him off. Inadvertently, Rick would like step back. But no, Greg's like, no, I got to go back. Oh, wait, how do I get around? I'm supposed to be over there.
And you got to think about poor David during this song too, because he's like, everybody's out there with the guitar. I want to be out there with the guitar too.
Oh.
Screw the drums. I'm going to go out and just tap on a guitar.
Well, and the interesting thing too is that, so you mentioned Elliot's solo. It's over a 2-minute long solo. It's a long one, and so the whole rest of the time the guys are just holding their beat or their place. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Ben's just doing that same bass line over and over and over. But I love how all the guys, they get in their pocket and they just stay there and let Elliot just rip it up. And I love it. And I love, because that's one of the best things too. You remember that, I just love it. When Ben does that, throws his pick out, grabs a new one off the mic stand, and then he just backs up and parks himself. And he just plays that bass line while Elliot goes for it. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in that solo, Elliot is just all over the place. But when he bends and twists his guitar to change the sound, you can see him twisting the physical body of the guitar. It rocks.
Yes.
So hard. Oh my gosh, he rocks.
Great performance.
Oh, it is. It's smoking on fire.
So then at the end of it, I always like how Elliot's vocal at the end of it is shit. Shit.
Yes. What is that?
Take it. Shit.
What is that? I don't understand that.
It's shit.
Well, but why?
Why not?
I don't know.
I think I'm just going to start doing that randomly.
Oh, great.
This might be something good for Boston. If I meet somebody I haven't met before, they'll say, hey, blah, blah, this is Dave. And I'm just going to go, shit.
Oh my God. You are not going to do that.
I'm totally doing it to somebody.
Somebody. Okay. If he does that to you, you're the lucky winner.
I think I may do it to Eric. When I see Eric, I'll say, Eric, how's it going? Shit. Take it. So take it, Eric.
Come on and take it.
Take it. Shit. There you
Wow.
go.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have to just make up everything to Eric. We owe him so big time.
We do. Well, if we can find Eric, because who knows, Eric may be rummaging garbage cans during the event.
I thought you were going to say he might be hiding from us.
No.
He'll be ducked under his Rick Ocasek coat.
Oh, can't wait to see that. He better bring it.
That's
he
right.
better be wearing it.
He better.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so since I held you.
Another one that was a sneak peek, really, at Candio.
Yeah, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I've ever heard another recording of that song live. Am I wrong on that?
Oh. Wow, I don't know. It's not one that I've ever really glommed onto,
Yeah.
There's got to be. There's got to, right? During the Candio tour?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You would think, but it's interesting to me that, that they have these songs lined up before their second album is even released, and they're kind of previewing these for people.
Right. Well, which, Rick has said they had tons of songs written by the time before that first album came out. I mean, they had so much to choose from.
Yeah. So this is when they go from Since I Held You, and then all of a sudden, which is, kind of a slower song, then they go into Don't You Stop, which, I mean, it's moving, it's grooving. This is the song that you think that Dave may be sending the note to somebody, slow down, I think I'm going to hurl.
That's right.
He's busy during that song.
Yes. Yeah, that is a fast-paced mover.
He is all over it.
Yes.
Which, and speaking of Don't You Stop, I actually made a GIF of this so I could send it to you.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Or potting. There is a point towards the end of the song where Ben and Elliot exchange looks. Okay?
Ooh.
And I'm sending this to you right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right. I will say really quick, Live at the Elma Combo has Since I Held You.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so you get that?
Yes!
And I will post it? Okay. Here's what that look says to me. This is two 12-year-old boys who just saw boobies.
Yes!
That is the look. Oh, did you see your boobies?
Yes!
That's what it is.
Yes. I know. Look at Ben's face. Oh, yeah. And Elliot's smile. Yes. Yep. That's
boobies.
it.
Yeah, that's what it. I'll post that one for our listeners.
Please do.
Here's the boobies gif.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, yeah, I got to make a gif of that. That's all there is.
I can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
I cannot take my eyes off it.
So in
Awesome.
ending the Musikladen footage, we of course have Just What I Needed, which was I would say was their go-to ending song during that period of time because it was probably their most popular song.
Yeah.
What can you say about it? It's just what I needed.
Oh yeah.
It always rocks. Have you ever heard a bad version of Just What I Needed?
By the Cars? No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, we know there's been, Yeah, I'm sure David was back there going, hey guys, I'm really feeling bad. Why don't we slow this down? Kind of like, I don't mind you coming here. No, Dave, no, you can't do it.
One more song. Then he's like, then can we speed it up and get through it faster? I don't mind you coming here. Wasting all my time. Total punk version.
The thing I really like about earlier versions of Just What I Needed is I always like the wasting all my time.
Yes.
But then as years went on, they'd always put a pause in between the first time and the second time.
Yeah.
And I always liked the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not time.
Time. Which I love in that footage you have on your YouTube channel of the Veely's Planet concert or the sound check when Ben's playing the drums and Tom Hambridge is singing and he sings time and Ben's face is like wah.
What?
Love it.
It's like that's original, Ben. That's the way it goes.
That's a thing now. Yep.
Yeah.
That will always be a thing.
Yep.
I cannot stop watching this GIF.
Well, good for you. I'm glad that can entertain you for that long.
He's just fantastic.
So on this DVD, this is what kills me though about the way this DVD is set up. They're promoting it as special feature, the Cars' first interview in over a decade. Mm-hmm. But you would kind of think like on the menu it would say concert, interview. But you can't find the interview unless you go into special features.
Yes.
which may bypass some people. Like, where the hell's the interview? What, because special features to me is stuff like, trailers and well, like Rhino has a CD sampler in there, which I've never watched.
No, me either.
Sorry, Rhino. But yeah, so that's where the interview is. And now, Donna, I know you have the lowdown on the interview, where it took place and the date and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, I kind of do. It's a little bit tricky because until the book Let's Go came out, I think a bunch of us somehow, like I had this idea or this thought in my head that the interview took place in June of 2000, but I can't find anywhere. I don't know where I got that impression, and I can't find anything that specifically gives the exact date of the interview. But in Let's Go, and I can't remember if it says this exactly or if this was something else, but my understanding is that Ben and Julie flew from the interview to that this took place in September because Ben and Julie flew from the interview to Anchorage, where Ben's last show was.
Wow.
So my understanding is that, and it does say in the book that this was just weeks before the interview was taped, just weeks before he passed away, which would verify that. So I'm not sure where the June date came from, and some people, and I also remember kind of hearing or thinking that it was at the end of August, but I think right now the closest that I understand is that it was toward the end of September. Julie is the one that was Ben's fiance at the time. Julie is the one that orchestrated it all and got it. That Ben wanted it to happen, and so Julie worked with Rhino to make sure that it did happen. And Brett Milano, of course, is the moderator, the interviewer, and I spoke to him on the phone last week, getting him set up for this book event, and he was honored to do it. Everyone he confirmed, which Greg had said too, everyone was very, very surprised and saddened at Ben's appearance because he was so ill. And it took place in Atlanta at Turner Studios, Turner Broadcast, Turner Studios.
Yep. They're all sipping from the Turner Studios cups.
Oh, those blue cups on the
blue cups, yeah.
I wonder if they got to take those home.
Probably not.
We'll ask Greg. Do you still have your Turner Studios cup?
Yeah.
So that's. To me, the biggest thing has always been trying to figure out that date. And like I said, from what I understand, it was just a couple of weeks before he passed away. So,
yeah. And the interview just kind of starts weird. It just starts with, you press go on it, and it's, what are your recollections of this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's not any kind of introduction of, hey, this is the first interview in 10 years or anything like that.
Right.
It's just, they just start right in with it, and Greg talking about, not feeling so great and those kind of things. And, but yeah, you've got the presence of Ben and seeing him at the end of his life. I know a lot of people, don't like this interview because they don't like to see him like that. But, to me, him doing that was just courage.
Yeah. And
this isn't going to stop me and those kind of things. And I think it also has to do with probably people's individual experiences with people who've had cancer, and right. That's the reality of it. But I always, Rick was, of course, always dressed cool. Dave's always got, Dave was dressed cool with his, business casual and so forth.
He looks like a college professor. In fact, I also thought he looked like Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
He's very Phil Hartman.
But one of the first things they talk about in the interview is Rick getting his book of lyrics stolen.
Yes.
I so want Greg to go, tough break, man.
Yes.
And then just glare.
Yes. Edgy Greg.
Tough break, man.
That's the best. Oh my God.
But Elliot,
Elliot Roberts, I've had bags stolen too, man. That's rough.
but Elliot makes the mention of the fact that they just come from Oxford and how people were flipping them off and throwing shit. And, you got Benjamin's favorite, "I'm going to get you."
Yes.
Kind of quote coming from that.
Yes.
But Ben's, I took note of what because Ben sits a lot through this interview just sitting. And, bless his heart, it's, he's obviously very fatigued from his condition. May not have a lot to say, but I still know that he's enjoying the moment. But the first thing he says is they put you on a gurney when talking about Dave. They just start talking about, their background and things that happened. And it's interesting. I think when we had Greg on the podcast and he was talking about, he wasn't sure how that interview came off. And I said something to the effect of, hey, that interview comes off as a group of guys who really like each other, reminiscing about all the funny and cool things that happened to them so long ago. And that's how I've always taken this interview. It's interesting to me that how they're kind of going off each other and remembering things or not remembering things, and it's just a very interesting interview.
Well, and you mentioned about Ben being courageous, and which I totally agree, and I think it also speaks a lot to, we've mentioned before in other shows talking about the Ben and Rick thing, that amends were made, and Ben wanted to get back together with these people and have this interview. He wanted to do this. He wanted to have a memory lane, maybe. And, I've heard people, or read, I guess, people's comments about, they never let Ben talk, and they this and that, and not believing that there's any kind of happy connection there, or even
seriously
peaceful.
People posted that.
Yeah, people.
What a bunch of dumbasses.
Well, people, Rick in some quarters has a really bad reputation, and the people have really strong opinions about what a monster he is and was. But the thing is, amends were made, like we said, and I feel like if you even, because I've been listening to a lot of interviews over this last week just on my audio, and there's the one where they're on WBCN, and it's all 5 of them are in the studio, and the pattern of talking is so similar to this interview. And in other interviews, Rick usually takes the lead. Elliot loves to talk. Greg and David will put their 2 cents in, and they have funny things to say, and Ben hangs back, and it's always been like that.
Yeah.
It's always been like that.
In this particular interview, I always felt that Elliot and David ran the interview, and much less Rick. And and I mean, the thing about it is Benjamin is ill. I mean, he doesn't have that much energy anyway.
Yeah,
and
I can't
they
imagine
show a lot of close-ups of him where he's just kind of just sitting and listening and taking it all in.
Right.
So sorry for my dumbass comment, but anybody's thinking, oh God, they're kind of stifling Ben or whatever. That's just a dumbass remark.
Well, and if you watch on my YouTube channel, there's an interview with Rick and Ben on a show called, I think it's called Over the Tracks or Off the Tracks or something. It's an English show, and it's just Rick and Ben. And honestly, Ben is sitting there almost the exact same way. He's sitting there, he's smoking a cigarette, he's kind of staring off into space. They ask him like one direct question, I think. So, Rick is really running the interview, and who knows, but Ben, it's a shadow of the same thing. So whether in reality that's how Rick forced it to be, of I'll do all the talking here, Ben, who knows? But regardless, this interview follows the same type as all of their interviews did from the very beginning. So
yeah,
it's not, and you're right, Ben was not, he was ill. So even if he was, I don't know, I just can't imagine he was, had the energy to elbow anybody out of the way and go, excuse me, I have things to say here. Right? He was always
like we've
reticent.
seen in fictional accounts. I'll take that. right?
Exactly.
But, during this interview, there's certain things. I mean, because I probably watched this interview maybe twice.
Right.
Once when I originally got this DVD and just on YouTube and so forth. And but there's still things that I took away from it that I just had glossed over or whatever. And there's the part where Greg talks about him being the last one to join the band.
Yes.
And he remembers hearing the Just What I Needed demo.
Yes.
Okay. Which all of a sudden I had this epiphany, which means literally all of those demos, or I shouldn't say all of them. I would say probably a majority of those demos, but definitely Just What I Needed, Greg wasn't playing on. This is Danny Lewis that was, involved in those demos. And we talked before about the synth line and Just What I Needed. And, that's confirmation right there that, with Greg being the last one to join and him remembering hearing that demo, that, that was Danny Lewis on there. And before, we just thought, you just kind of thought, okay, it was all the guys and they're doing their demos.
Okay, wait, interesting. Because, there's the demo with Rick singing.
Yes.
So does he mean, I mean, like,
I took it as, in that interview, Greg saying, they're talking about Max Ansatori playing the tape. And with Greg being the last one to join, he's talking about, yes, I remember hearing that.
So the demo that
and
got the
thinking
deal.
how good it was and da-da-da, blah, blah, blah.
The one that's on the deluxe version.
Yes. That's the way I take it. Now, I could be wrong.
That's like a sock in the stomach.
Yeah.
I can't process that. That Greg wasn't on it?
Yeah.
No, really? Because
it has to
back
be.
then,
we don't know what this, how quick that change took over between Danny and Greg.
Well, yeah, because Greg said he was at the Rat in the first month of beginning of February. He was not. So at the end of January, the band played out. The end of December, they did their secret concert. December 31st was the New Year's Eve show that did not have Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And then Greg was in January because I believe February 7th was their first performance at the Rat, and Greg was there.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty small window. But see, and they must have recorded demos after that. Wow, you just have blown my little researcher mind.
Wow, good for me.
Wow, oh my goodness, interesting.
Yeah.
I have to think through that.
The other thing I thought was really interesting was, we've all known that the inner sleeve of the debut album was, designed by David and whatever, but the fact that he remembers it cost $80 to make that. 80 freaking bucks in 78.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
When you're only getting dimes from your grandma,
yeah.
$80 is a lot of money.
Exactly. And, the fact that they had a lot more visuals from the day the Earth stood still and couldn't get rights to it and so forth. Mm-hmm. And so what the actual sleeve is what they had to go with after all that. But, the poster, the promo poster.
Yeah.
That used to be on my wall, but not anymore. I'm wondering if that is more typical of what that inner sleeve looked like.
In its original format?
In its original format. I'm wondering if that's the $80 job that David put together.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, yes, you're right. I didn't pick up on that either. I did hear that discussion, but it didn't really... I didn't really chew on that, the fact that the inner sleeve is still actually not David's original cover. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I just like them talking about how really that album cover was too slick.
Oh, yeah.
For what they felt they were. Nobody likes the pictures. of the band.
Right.
That telephone pole thing or whatever, which I, even as a, 14-year-old kid, I thought, this is really kind of weird. What are they running from? I don't get it.
Right.
Yeah. But, and then Rick, of course, has to be Rick and bring up the sperm-colored steering wheel.
Yeah, I always like that.
The sperm-colored steering wheel.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what are you thinking, Mr. Akasik, for this room? Can we get something in a sperm color?
It's always been a favorite.
It's really what I want. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Well, and this is just a little side note, but I watched this. Lizzie was with me when I was watching this and taking notes, and she kept saying, "Take your hands away from your mouth." Like, it really bothered her that Rick was always putting his hands up to his mouth, to his face. I just had to throw that out there.
Wow.
Yeah. The other thing that they talked about, or one of the other things they talked about that I loved listening to them talk about, was synchro sound. And just how it was like their clubhouse and their hangout, and I loved hearing them reminisce about those days. I thought that was really cool.
Yes, and going, let me go back a second though, Donna.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
That Elliot, when talking about that debut album,
oh yes,
when they shifted that and the Elektra, did their own album cover on their own, him stating that was, pretty much started the trend of having women on the covers,
yes,
sexy album covers, there, so
yes,
that wasn't the direction they were going.
Right.
That something like Panorama was more, what they were looking for, and not the debut Candy,
right, not the
Heartbeat
chicks.
City. Yeah, not the chicks on there.
Well, because even the Candio cover, you listen to David talk about it, and it wasn't about having a sexy woman on the cover. It was about having a Vargas on the cover.
Yeah.
It was about the art of it, not the, 12-year-old boys are going to be hiding this under their mattress.
Yeah. Well, I think I've said before, the Candio cover my mother did not like.
Oh, yeah.
She was not a fan.
No, and I would not. I think I've told you before. I conceal it here because I have a 13-year-old boy in the house.
Yeah.
I hide it.
Yeah. I mean, I had the album in my room. I actually had a Candio shirt that I bought from Peach's record store. My mom hated it when I wore that shirt, and I wore that shirt to death.
I have no doubt.
And she hated it. And then as I got older, I can remember I actually had a set of magnets with all the album covers, and I put them up on the refrigerator, and Angela made me take them down. And it was all because of KDO.
Of course.
It's not like the debut or Shake It Up is that bad, But yeah, it's like, ooh, soft porn.
Gateway. It's a gateway picture.
It was a gateway picture. It is art. It is not the porn.
That's right. How could you look at something so lovely and think of it as something
sexy.
so dirty? It's not dirty. It's beautiful. Get your mind out of the gutter.
That's right. But as far as that whole interview going, I like how they kind of go through the different things of using technology and not being fake in their shows.
Yeah, I really appreciated that.
That's always been a biggie. Always been a biggie. And they have said stuff like that in radio interviews before. Not prodding the audience and not having things set up, because honestly, there's nothing worse than seeing a performer up on stage and they're not being sincere.
Right.
And when you think they are being sincere with their banter, and then you hear something later that's the same exact thing, you're like, crap.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it makes you feel like they're not genuine.
Right.
You can't think of something on your own while you're performing to people to say.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've talked about their live stuff to no end. I'm glad they're not winded, running around, acting like morons. That they're standing there and they're just nailing song after song. And I think they're great live. So
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and then to hear them say, this is who we are, this is how we wanted to be, this wasn't, yeah, then I just appreciate it even more, that they're just being themselves.
Yeah, and there's my favorite part of this interview, and let me send you, I'm going to send you another gift. Sorry about that, you just heard my mom texting me, God knows what she wants.
She's calling you about that Candio thing, she's not heard you.
She is. My ears were burning.
That's right.
But there's that part in the interview where they're talking about Candio, and Rick says, I don't think I ever knew anybody named Candio, and Ben says something to, well, not, if you did, you didn't tell me, and Rick puts his hand on Ben's back.
Yes.
And that part of that interview there, his smile, Rick's smile and laugh at the comment, and putting his hand on Ben, their amends were made.
Yeah, well, and just when he rubs,
cool with each other.
Do you see how he rubs his shoulder just a little bit right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That there made the interview for me when I first watched it. Still does.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we'll post that gift too. I'm not big on posting gifts on the Facebook.
I know you're not.
By golly, I'm going the extra mile for those two gifts: the boobies gift, and the immense gift.
Very worth it. Very worth the effort.
Yes. Yeah. But there's a point after, I think maybe shortly after that, where Brian, is that his name?
Brett.
The interviewer?
Brett.
I'm sorry, Brett, if you're listening. Where he asks, Ben, did you think of yourself as the sexy one? And I love Benjamin's response to that. It's like, hell no.
Hell no. Yeah, hell no.
Maybe the Randy one.
Yeah.
But, and I quote him here. He says, I always kept one foot on the ground. It's just a show. Mm-hmm. It's an act. You leave the stage and you become somebody else, and nobody else sees that except these guys in the crew.
Yeah, I love that quote.
That's Benjamin Orr right there.
Yeah. Yeah, in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Witnessed it myself. I mean, in seeing him in concert, and then talking with him backstage, two different people. Mm-hmm. He's playing the crowd, he's doing the, that kind of stuff. But then him, the person, totally different. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people have told us that.
Yeah, well, and that thread is woven all throughout Let's Go, the book. Mm-hmm. He had a rock star persona and he had a regular, normal guy persona. And he turned it on when he went on stage, and then he turned it off when he was off. And,
yeah, and I think most importantly is the fact that he didn't come off like he was owed something because he was a rock star. He wasn't. That's just not the way he came off to me. Right.
Well, that's the thing. I would think most rock stars can't flip it off when they go off the stage. They're still considering themselves the rock star. And Ben didn't. He was when he got off the stage, he was just a normal guy. He was humble and he was kind and he was considerate of other people's feelings, and probably still stayed in the background and made people feel important, and it wasn't about him.
Yeah.
That's what I that's what I believe anyway.
So at this point, the interview's kind of winding down or whatever, but there's a couple of points in the interview that really stuck out to me.
Okay.
Well, besides Rick touching Benjamin on the shoulder, but Rick says something to the effect of, "I'm a night person.
Yes.
I don't like day." Okay. So what does that say to me? Fucking vampire.
I knew it.
Rick's a fucking vampire. We know what's in his vault now, Donna. Coffin.
Coffin. Vials.
Coffins and minions.
Vials of blood.
Yeah.
Wow.
It kind of makes you rethink that walking on water business, though, doesn't it? Right? Mm-hmm. That was no effect. Vampires can walk on water. Donna.
All right.
Rick Ocasek, vampire. I'm putting it out there.
Well, I have nothing to say to that. I don't even know what to say about that. um,
all the Orbets going, I knew it.
I know.
Knew it.
That's what we've been trying to tell you for years.
Yeah, that Rick, he's a vampire.
He sucked the blood right out of Benjamin and the rest of the guys.
He did.
Son of a...
David wasn't sick. Rick was hungry.
Yikes.
But the other part was when they're kind of winding down and everybody's giving their thoughts on the band.
Love it.
You've got Elliot, Greg, Rick, Benjamin, and Dave, and Elliot comes off saying talking about the pride of being in this band and how proud he was of what they did
and the influence they had.
Yes, and Greg just showing all the appreciation for the fans.
The connections.
Rick, yes, Rick talking about integrity.
And art, yes. You're totally going down my notes. I love it. Go ahead.
Ben with the camaraderie of the band and the family of it all. And David with how he's, listened to stuff now later in life and how the individual performances make this band. And to me, that's the most important comment out of all of them, because, we go round and round about, people saying, well, Rick was the front man of the band and the whole argument of, Benjamin this, Benjamin that, blah, blah, blah. I look at this band as these 5 individuals who are outstanding at what they did, and all of them coming together. I don't think you have that in every band.
Right.
That they were all freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I consider Rick Ocasek one of the best songwriters in the business. Greg Hawkes, definitely one of the best keyboardists. Elliot Easton, guitar god. Benjamin Orr, great vocalist, and his bass skills are top notch. And Dave Robinson, the best drummer. And those individual performances together make that sound, makes that band,
right?
Including their personalities too.
Yeah. It's like when you go to make cookies, and you have your flour and your sugar and your chocolate chips and your butter, and by themselves they're...
Who's the butter in the band?
Oh.
Who is the butter? Who's the baking soda?
Ben's the chocolate chips. I'll tell you that right now.
Really? He's the chocolate chips.
Oh, he's the chocolate chips.
All right.
Greg is the butter.
Who's the crusty bottom of the cookie? Because they got to be crispy.
No, we're talking about the ingredients that go into the cookie, not the cookie itself. There's no crusty bottom. You don't add crusty bottoms to your cookie recipe. Okay, my whole point was that individually, each ingredient has its own purpose. It's excellent at what it does and how it functions, and then you put them all together and you just, I wouldn't want to eat a spoonful of flour and a spoonful of sugar and a spoonful of butter all by themselves and pretend like I had a cookie. You have to put them all together and bake the cookie, and then it's this wonderful, amazing thing.
Yes.
But you can't make the cookies without one of those ingredients either.
Yeah.
It's just, it's all of them individually and all of them together. I really loved what they all said. I love that they all came from a different perspective, and as far as what they're the most proud of, or I appreciated everything that they said, and I thought that it was very telling what matters to each of them. I thought it was really good.
So all in all, this DVD package. I mean, it was nice to have. It still is nice to have. Great concert footage. Great interview. Recommend it highly.
Very much so. Yes. Yeah. I
give it a 10. And my only negative response to it is the packaging could have been better. They could have given us a little bit more, but
but we always want more.
Yeah, we always want more.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
I like the faces on the spine. Did you look at the spine of the DVD? There's like the...
Hey, there's faces on the spine. Yeah, I knew that.
All right.
Yeah,
that's
it's
really
kind of
cute.
cool.
All right.
Right. So, Donna,
Yes.
We have some Midnight Scroll action.
Yes, we do.
Take me apart 'cause I'm out of control. Send me a letter on the midnight scroll.
So, our Midnight Scroll, we have a BB email. I'm going to read part 1. Donna's going to read part 2 because, hey, we like to share. We share.
We do.
So, old BB starts out, "Hello, D&D. I think it goes without saying, I listen to the show a lot. No shit. We've never questioned your fandom, BB. Never. In fact, as I told Donna at least twice, one SoundCloud, one YouTube. Oh, okay. If you can sync episode 53 to both then play Unlocked, it makes more sense. Okay. I love this episode, and you nail the so-called rare and most unusual items on eBay. I think the prices are the equivalent of drug companies charging $500 for an EpiPen. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
They're gouging those with a great interest."
I agree. Oh, my turn?
It is your turn.
And yes, I believe Donna would agree if they had footage of the Panorama Tour. Yeah, anaphylactic shock would occur if the price was ratcheted up like Greg Hawkes performing In Touch with Your World. Huh. I know. Shooby doo. So, tick, tick, tickle me this. What's this nonsense about me on Facebook? Outie and later, BB.
You know what? BB is full-blown Facebook at this point. He's all over Facebook.
He is. I posted a GIF of a fox hopping up and down on one of those bouncy balls. That's BB right now. Boing, 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 all over Facebook.
He's all over it, and we enjoy it.
Love it.
That is for sure. Let's keep it going, buddy. Keep it going. And thank you for writing us an email. Otherwise, I would have had to make shit up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. All right.
Okay. I think that wraps it up.
This wraps it up. Our next podcast is going to be after Boston.
Yes.
And I won't have much money because I'll be poor.
And I will be on a sugar high from eating nothing but Huckleberry Taffy the whole time.
Yeah. Poor and sugar high. All right. So we will catch you next time, everyone. Thank you for listening. And as always, just for Becky, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Bye.
Ben, did you think of yourself as the sexy one?
Hell no. Randy maybe, but not the sexy one.
The amazing Randy.
Sven Harlander. There you go. No. I've always kept my one foot on the ground. It's just a show. You act, and then you leave the stage, and you're somebody else. But nobody else sees that, except these guys and the crew.
Thank you for listening to Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast. Wherever you found us, iTunes, SoundCloud, or YouTube, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. Send us an email for The Midnight Scroll at nightthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. As always, Night Thoughts reserves the right to edit or not read an email on the air. You can follow us on Twitter at The Cars Podcast. Grab yourself a podcast t-shirt at tpublic.com/user/nightthoughts. All the cool kids are wearing them. Oh, and finally, search for The Cars Night Thoughts on Facebook and join our group page. P.S. I am totally Team Rick.